Welcome to this series on innovation. We live in a society of innovation. When I was a kid, my childhood was spent largely like my father's was. I played in the dirt, dug around, the insects crawling around in the ivy patch were my toys. When I got older, I hopped on a bicycle and would ride around the neighborhood. But that started to change when I was a first grader. That's when I saw my first computer. After that, the computer revolution has literally changed our lives. Now I have two of them that sit in my pocket. But really, are we innovators? What is innovation? Wikipedia describes innovation as the practical implementation of ideas that result in the introduction of new goods or services or an improvement in offering goods or services. So that's key. There's two kinds of innovation. There's new products, and then there's new services. Sorry, new processes, not services. So we have products and services and processes. Those are the two kinds of innovation. And it's critical to think that there are these two types because they are different, but they are also very similar. And we'll get more into that later. So new processes or new products defines innovation. But when I go out and buy myself another cell phone, am I innovative? Well, sure, I'm adding a new product to my life, but it's not a new product that I created. In fact, I have no idea who created that new product. I just copied their innovation into my life. And in fact, our society is largely innovative because of copying. There are other societies in the world who are not nearly as innovative as ours are. But that's not because they lack innovation. In fact, generally they are more innovative than we are. But they aren't, as for various reasons, as capable of copying innovations as our society is. In reality, if we look at our lives, there's very little innovation. How many new products have you designed lately? Probably the answer is 0. How many new processes have you put into place? Well, let me think. When I load my washing machine with clothes, I use the process that my mother taught me 25, 30 years ago. Yeah, that's not innovative. When I load my dishwasher, do I put the forks where the cups go? No. That's pretty much the same process that I've used for the last decade, as long as I've had this dishwasher. So, really, does my life contain much innovation? The answer is no. In fact, that's the answer for almost everyone. No, we don't have innovation in our lives. We copy innovation that other people create. And that's not a bad thing. It's just how it is. We need to acknowledge that. Now, that leads to a very interesting conclusion. Innovation is rare, and innovation is different. Our normal life does not contain innovation. And when innovation happens, it is different than normal life. Now, we know from experience that things that are different require different processes, different skills, different everything. If you want to be an Olympic boxer, you will go through a very different process than if you plan to be an Olympic gymnast. If you plan to be a plumber, the process of preparing for and doing the job of being a plumber is quite different than the process of being a computer programmer. Different things require different processes. Innovation is different than ordinary life, and that is absolutely critical to grasp. It leads to some very interesting conclusions. Innovation thrives in small companies, but not in big companies. Why is that? Could it possibly be because small companies have not established processes and disciplines They're kind of just floundering around trying to find something that works. So someone may either know or stumble across an innovative methodology and start applying it in a small company and successfully innovate. Most small companies don't, by the way, but a few manage to come across it and do it. And the reason why most small companies don't innovate, of course, is because innovation is unusual. It doesn't happen much. Very few people have experience with innovation. So therefore, if you're drawing from your experience to try to develop processes, you are unlikely to stumble across an innovative process because it's just not who you are. It's like asking a boxer to start figure skating. Some rare people, yeah, they'll figure it out, but most, no. It's just not who they are. So most businesses don't figure out how to innovate. But a small business has a chance because the processes are not solidified yet. However, a big business has developed skills at succeeding in non-innovative tasks. They've become very effective. Now, people like to make fun of big businesses and because they're bureaucratic, slow, blah, 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 blah. And hey, it's fairly earned. But big businesses are actually incredibly effective at doing what they do. They have nailed down the ability to do these tasks. And they repeat day in, day out, doing excellent work, producing fantastic results. And that's what, literally what feeds us, puts the cars in our driveways, puts the roofs over our heads. Big businesses are very helpful and they're very effective. But they're very disciplined of being effective at these tasks, which by the way are non-innovative because they've already been done before. They're just repeating the same task. When Ford comes out with a new automobile, it's essentially the same one that they had before. There's some styling differences, and over the decades, new innovations are implemented into the vehicle, generally not invented by the automobile maker. Generally, they're copied from somebody else. So, big businesses are really good at getting these things done, and they have really good discipline and good processes for doing non-innovative tasks. So when a big business takes on an innovative task, they take their effective processes for non-innovative tasks and implement them on the innovative task. So, hey, we are a company that does boxing, and we are being asked to do gymnastics. So what do? We set up a gymnasium with a, one of those big things that you hang that you pound on. And we have the people run around and exercise. And you have all this great activity, but it's based on boxing. And guess what? The gymnastics doesn't work because it's a totally different process. But in a small company, you don't have that kind of discipline. You have kind of chaos. So therefore, there's a chance that a small company can, by chance, develop an innovative process and make it happen. Now, I am not suggesting that small businesses and innovation should be chaotic and undisciplined. In fact, innovation requires extreme discipline. Effective innovation requires the same level of discipline that non-innovative tasks require to do well. The discipline level is the same, but what you do, the task, the activities are very different. Because again, innovation and non-innovation are very different activities. So therefore, the tasks, the processes in which one does innovative versus non-innovative are very different. In the same way that someone preparing to be a boxer is going to do very different activities than someone preparing to be a gymnast or a figure skater. So in our next session, we'll start to dig into what are the differences between innovative and non-innovative activities that will eventually lead us to understand what is the proper discipline to use when engaged in innovative versus non-innovative activities. Thanks for joining us.